back in the late 80s, a bunch of men got together, and as often the case in many communities, you're always talking about problems. And so Delbert Munn's always famous to say, people talk, but very few people do anything about it. So there was a discussion about water and also, how can the village of Dietrich grow. And a gentleman named Hank Stevens was at this meeting. I think it was at a Ruritan meeting, that the discussion turned to, well, you can't grow a community without a good source of water.
We put up a new water tower, and we had 2 or 3 different avenues to look at as far as bringing water into town and not utilizing our own wells, using the water that we had with a new water tower. And the expense we were going to have to spend to rebuild our pumps and stuff, we decided to buy water. People drink bottled water in town. Water softeners were a big thing in town. Washing white clothes was a major ordeal.
And what it looked like is we needed about 300 users to make this thing economically become a reality. So Delbert and the original board, they went door to door to talk to people, convince them, hey, would you sign up? Would you take water? And again, because this area was dry, people had a big interest. They were hauling water, so they saw this as a viable alternative.
They were just getting organized. When they come around this area and ask me, would I help sign up people? And then after they were signed up to get right-of-ways for them, I was more than happy to do that because I was like my neighbors. I wanted water. I wanted this program to be successful.
The neighbors in the area that needed water, they met here, and they started like at 6 o'clock one night. And they met here till 2 o'clock in the morning. And I had wives calling me saying, is my husband still there? But anyway, they were serious. The whole neighborhood was serious about getting water to this area.
So that was a lot of work, and I believe that 300, they kind of passed that and got to 400 on phase 1. And then of course the whole thing of constructing it, building it, you got to get right-of-way easements, and so there's quite a bit of work to be done. And then in 1993 is when they got the system, the first drop of water came out, and that's kind of how it all happened.
Once you got water, it was, I can say, a relaxing feeling, because I knew that we didn't have to haul water anymore, and we could use water any amount we wanted to, because before we had to conserve it.
Well, one thing I think nice was that when the power went out, if the electricity went off because of a storm, we still had water, and that was awesome.
Yep.
It was so nice to have water pressure, and the water tastes good, and it was life-changing, really.
We've realized that, yes, water is important, that's the core of our business, but we've really decided is how do we maintain and help communities be sustainable. A lot of our smaller towns are faced with declining populations, and water and infrastructure obviously is a key component to sustainability. But then how do we really be much more engaged, much more deliberate to deliver this mission of sustainability to the communities? And so that kind of recasting has really allowed us to get into the innovative wastewater subsidiary that we have now, which is plainly just bringing sanitary or sewer services to high-density subdivisions, or even working with communities that no longer want to maintain their own sewer systems. So that type of visioning, if you will, came out of that, improving the quality of life the cooperative way. And then the last thing that's just happened is we did a joint venture with Wabash Telephone, and in talking with our board of directors, that we could have the best water system there is, but if we don't solve this broadband problem or lack of broadband, how are the next generation of millennials and the next generation going to want to even stay here? And so I think that call to action is just like it was for electricity in the late 30s, just like it was water in basically the late 80s, which EJ addressed, and here we are basically in the year 2018 addressing another problem. Because if no one else is going to do it, I think the charge, or the manifesto, if you will, of EJ is how do we become either part of the solution or try to find someone who will get that job done. I think in a real simplistic way, when you think about, say, the next 30 years, you really should look at, our most important asset is our people, our team. How do you get those folks plugged into the next 30 years? So I think that's one of the biggest, I wouldn't say so much a challenge as much as an opportunity, because I see it as an opportunity because we'll be able to attract some really world-class, team members, as well as have I hope, a fun culture that challenges people. And we use the word fun around here a lot, not so much just the joking, and we do joke a lot around here, but it's the idea of, if you can really challenge somebody and then help them grow both personally and professionally, the outcome becomes a lot of fun to be around, right? Because you're challenged, you're creatively coming up with new solutions, you're implementing them, which is extremely important. And again, the outcome is this bigger thing than what you thought.